Hello, and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of January 24th. I'm Catherine Alecko, and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast, we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Terry and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. And this week we are finishing up. We are joining the rest of the world in getting to the end of season 2 of Ted Lasso. So we watched episode 11 called Midnight Train to Royston and 12 Inverting the Pyramid of Success. So we got to an end for many of our storylines here.
Yes.
And there's a new bad guy in town.
That's right.
Apparently.
But
Sweet little Nate from season 1
hasn't been sweet little Nate for quite some time.
Has not been sweet this season. No, he hasn't. And it just keeps getting more and more intense.
And
so what did you think of we could start with that particular storyline?
Because we'll talk about these two interchangeably because really plot lines set up in Midnight Train to Royston paid off in Inverting the Pyramid of Success. Right. So there's no point in talking about them separately when we watch them both. But
and we presume you, the listener, have watched them both. Because
if not,
otherwise,
put your hands over your ear and go la, 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 for the rest of this podcast.
Yes.
Well, I mean, we've been talking about Nate. I had seen some tweets. You try to not get spoiled for the season, but if you go any place where people are talking about the show and they're watching the end of the season when you're watching the beginning of the season, sometimes you don't look away fast enough. Mm-hmm. So I had gotten the impression that many, many, many people were unhappy with what was done to the character of Nate. And, he certainly is a very different character than he was in the first season. And all the development of him that led us to this point was done in this season. So I could see people having some resentment, but I do feel like they have built very, very well to the point where he does the things he does that are hissable, certainly. When they were all confessing things and Ted confessed that, I thought, well, bet I know what's going to happen there. And it did. I was really thrilled when Trent not only texted Ted about the article, but told him who the anonymous source was. Mm-hmm. Nice payoff on Trent Krim, the Independent. And, and then that scene. So also amusing that Beard instantly knows who it is. Ted doesn't have to tell him.
Beard has had his eye on Nate this whole time.
Yes. And Ted doesn't want to confront Nate about it, but Beard sure does. Wants Ted to and does himself, lets Nate know.
And honestly, I mean, as you said, it was a nice payoff for Trent Krim, Independent to become Trent Krim, Independent.
Yes.
But
very nice.
There were only so many people who knew.
Right. That's true.
And only one of them had an axe to grind.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. So not necessarily, thus Beard knowing exactly who it was.
Right.
But the scene at the end, they win the game. No, they don't win the game. They tie, which is as good as a win. I hate soccer.
In this particular instance was, yes.
And they've won they've had their victory, such as it is, using a strategy that Nate told them to use in the snottiest possible way.
Yeah.
But he's upset because Ted's certainly been giving him credit for it. He says, Ted keeps saying it's my idea because he thinks it's going to fail. And then when it fails, he can blame it on me. But then by halftime, it's failing. Right. And Ted asks the players and the players all want to keep doing it. And they do. And it turns out working out very well for them. Mm-hmm. And yet Nate storms off the field. And then they have this scene where it seems to me Nate is projecting all his horrible feelings about his father onto a father figure.
Yeah.
That really it has very little to do with Ted at all.
Right, because he accuses Ted of not giving him credit and of abandoning him. And I mean, first of all, Ted gave him the job because he felt that he deserved credit and to be a coach because he was performing in that role.
Right.
So,
and if Ted abandoned him, it was not anything to do with Nate. It was the fact that he was going through stuff, which, by the way, you just told the newspapers. So,
yeah.
But at the same time, I buy it. I mean, as we've said before, he has a lot of stuff bottled up. And that bit where, oh my gosh, where Jamie, told Keely in the last episode we discussed, told Keely he loved her. And then Keely tells Roy, and then Roy's going to go beat up Jamie, but Jamie comes and confesses it himself. Mm-hmm. And, but he still wants to kill him. And then Nate confesses to having this very awkward situation where he kissed Keely, much to her discomfort. And Roy doesn't want to kill him. And why don't you want to kill me? You should want to kill me. He says, oh, no. So he's like, it's just another thing. You could just tell that people feeling like he's non-threatening and not significant. And so I thought they did a really, really good job of building up to what happened, which is that the vile Rupert buys another team and Nate becomes its coach. Mm-hmm. And the only quibble I would have with the entire arc is at the very end, you see this team playing, you see Rupert whispering in somebody's ear, and it turns around and super close up of Nate looking evil. Did they not have a Darth Vader mask that would fit him? That
He's
was
a small person, Terry.
That was a little over the top. I think you could have just shown us from a distance and we would have got it. But that was, but okay, so now Rupert the Vile has a partner, and it will be interesting to see where that goes if he comes back around at some point. Or
I mean, at this point, I just feel like good riddance. Like, Rupert, you can have him.
Yeah, but I do feel sort of sorry for the original Nate, flavor Nate, who is still in there somewhere, but just all these years and years and years of. It's been so stressful to him, Catherine, that it turned him gray.
It turned him gray. And in the matter of weeks, it turned him gray.
What up with that? I mean, at the beginning of the show, I thought Nate was supposed to be a guy like in his 20s. Mm-hmm. I thought he was supposed to be super young. And then I saw on our birthday list, which I do with my family at dinner time, that the actor who plays him is like in his 40s. And it's like, well, that's weird. Now he looks his age. And maybe they felt like, well, if he's going to be a coach of a team, he's got to be an older fellow.
Right.
But there was never any explanation given.
No, it was just like in episodes 11 and then 12, especially 12, he was graying rapidly, so that by the time you got to the 3 months later, he was like completely.
I mean, I think it's when he was in. I noticed it when he was in the trying on suits with Keely, and it's like all of a sudden he was almost blonde. His hair was so gray. And what? But okay, fine. But speaking of, so that was the dramatic treatment of somebody being pulled over to the dark side. On the comedic treatment of somebody being pulled over to the dark side, Sam gets an amazing job offer from somebody who seems like he is just the fairy godmotherist. He's this super billionaire guy, and he reserves a museum and hires actors so that he doesn't need a security detail when he shows Sam around the museum. He creates a restaurant just so that they can go to dinner. He's offering him a really good gig. He's just like everything Sam
and he's saying all the right things.
Yes.
He wants to make an African team in Africa to really showcase the African players and not have them playing in Europe. Yes. And that, that's got appeal for Sam.
Definitely.
Obviously.
Yeah. And, he gives Sam 72 hours to think about it. And, Sam does. And Rebecca, can't tell him what to do and still doesn't know what she wants, but doesn't want him to go. And so she's kind of given him mixed signals and, but he has this. So at the end, he decides he wants to stay with Richmond. His dad told him to be open for signals from the universe. And I guess he got his signals from the universe. So
in the form of people playing in the park wearing
with his name, yes,
with a jersey,
yes. So and so he tells this guy who has been all sorts of friendliness and benevolence the whole time, and then he just goes nuts. Yes. Very hilarious tantrum over it, and Sam just
making it very clear that Sam made the right choice.
He just starts smiling like, whew, dodged a bullet.
Dodged a bullet for sure.
So that was the comic relief there a little bit, but if the guy hadn't been nuts, I would have thought, yeah, Sam, maybe that would have been a good deal, but I'm glad you didn't do it because I want to keep seeing your cute face and possibly underwear when Rebecca's
when Rebecca again. Comes to her senses.
I can still hope. I was reading Linda Holmes's commentary about this, and she remains very bothered by, this is why you don't fool around with your employees, because then you are put in positions like this.
Yes.
And, that she's still amazed that nobody has made that a central thing of this whole quandary. But still.
Well, should we talk about Ted, the titular character?
Yes. Let's talk about Ted. Oh, Ted. I mean, I keep feeling I'm waiting for him to get his mojo back, and he never quite does he? But possibly he didn't ever have any.
Yeah.
He's still just as quippy as he always was.
But now you don't quite trust it because you know that he can turn it on and off,
Yeah. I kind of still miss super upbeat, cheerful Ted, but okay. If they want to take it a little deeper, I guess that's all right. But he's still, it's like if there's not something magical about him, then he's just a guy who's not qualified to be doing the job he's doing. And that's kind of sad. So I would rather not be sad.
But I think that he does, he has built a team, right? I mean, he is good at the motivation stuff. And, Roy has the experience as a player, and Beard has the book learning, he's always reading. He's always, watching and paying very close attention.
He listens more than he talks.
Exactly. And he, he's very wise. So, put them all together.
Yes.
Take out the toxic one, which is Nate.
The one who made all the good strategic plays. But okay.
Then you have possibly an effective staff.
Let's hope, because we need for them to kick
West Ham.
Yes. Yeah, we can't let Rupert have any wins here. So
no,
in the theoretical third season, but yeah, that was very sweet with him. The psychiatrist is leaving town, and though they have
her time is up.
Yes, although they have planned a number of going away things, including a party, a envelope full of cash, and a performance of Bye Bye Bye. She just sneaks out of town.
No,
well, she's in her apartment, but she sneaks out of the building, leaves letters for everybody, which Ted and his abandonment issues immediately take issue with, and hunt her down at her apartment and complain. And she says, "Did you read the letter?" And of course he didn't. And she says, "All that stuff is in the letter." And then he reads the letter in front of her in a very lovely facial expression performance by Jason Sudeikis. If they gave an Emmy for acting with only your face,
right,
you would be at the top of the list. So, that was very sweet. And so they resolved that well. But
so then she says, okay, well, my train doesn't leave until midnight, hence the title of the episode.
Yes.
Should we go for a drink? And I'm like, didn't we 3 episodes ago make a big deal about how much she drinks?
Yeah.
So is that apparently something we're just not going to talk about or think about ever again? Because she's leaving apparently as a character. So
yeah, apparently it is.
That was strange to me. Like, why make that a thing if you're never going to go back to it? I mean, they just made it a thing because it gave her some chinks in her armor, I guess.
Well, yes, that's a loose end. Another loose end that really bothered me all the way to the end of the episode of the series, of the season, which apparently it's not going to come up. But Roy takes these pictures Phoebe has drawn of naked women's breasts and takes them with him to this photo shoot, and appears to me puts them down at a table by the door as he walks in to have his picture taken. I guess it's her house,
Keely's house,
place that she goes into. And then we never see them again. And I thought, oh my gosh, somebody's going to find those. They're going to put them in Vanity Fair, or they're going to say he's a pervert drawing pictures of women. There's something's going to happen. And it never did. So.
Yeah. And like, why, Phoebe?
I don't buy that. I got to say, I don't buy that. That seems weird to me. Very much enjoy the little, we kind of have to call it a flirtation, don't we, between Roy and the teacher?
The teacher, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. What is it called when you don't really have an affair with somebody? You just sort of...
An emotional affair.
An emotional affair. It's not to that level yet, but
right.
If Keely and Roy eventually break up, she would be very good. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to know that there's somebody else. But Roy and Keely, this really seems, I think Linda Holmes may have mentioned this in one of her reviews, that it's one of these things, happy people are boring, so we have to give them drama. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I really was quite satisfied with seeing Roy and Keely happy. They're an adorable couple. Right. Stop messing with them for no good reason whatsoever. You know, you had this tension of Jamie, and then that got taken away right away. And, you know, Vanity Fair didn't put his picture in. That's not a real problem.
But it was wonderful when he told the Diamond Dogs that it hurt his feeling.
That's right. Yes.
To not be in Vanity Fair. It hurt my feeling. It hurt my feeling.
That was great. What a good character he is.
Yes.
But and I mean, I think that probably getting tickets for a 6-week vacation without asking your significant other first, not a good idea. And also telling the guy who did that, hey, you just go by yourself for 6 weeks. It'll be fine.
Right. I was waiting for her to say, like, I'll come visit, I'll come for a long weekend or something.
Yeah. Saying, sweetie, I'd really like you to go away for 6 weeks. Just not what he's looking to hear. No. So that was unfortunate, but also really stupid of him. So, and I don't like to think of him as being stupid. So I would like to think he would say, hey, babe, why don't we go away for a little while? What can you swing with your new job? Right. That's how I think it would have.
I mean, I think the point was he was like, yeah, there's Wi-Fi, you know, that he thought that he thought it through.
I still feel like he would ask.
He didn't.
So I guess they're going to be having problems next season. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Keely having got her, these venture capitalists behind Banter apparently still flush with cash.
Right.
So not only have they got sponsorship of a team, they're now investing in PR firms. Mm-hmm. The lucrative investment opportunity of PR firms.
Right.
It's where all the big money is going.
Oh, boy.
Well, good luck.
And also, I don't see why Keely can't still do the PR for the team.
Yeah.
So,
well, I guess
they made a big deal of her, like, leaving the...
Yeah, I think Linda Holmes was suggesting that maybe Trent Krim, independent, might take that job next season, which I would be all for.
Oh, yeah.
If he can ever get his car open.
Yeah, what was the point of that?
I don't know. It did not pay off.
He locked himself out of his car and scene, and that was it. He's so independent that he can't move because he's car. I don't get that.
Yeah, that seemed like one of those things that you wonder if something got cut.
Right.
And they said, oh, it'll be fine. We can just leave it like that. Forget it.
Yeah.
But although, you know, it was already we wished for some shortness for these last 2 episodes, and I foolishly left myself like an hour and a half to watch them and thought this will be fine, and then they're 45 minutes in like an hour.
Yeah.
So back to half hour next season.
I did enjoy the, sort of season-long payoff of the Dutch player who is extremely blunt and will never, he has no tact at all. And, but he's the one who tells them that, yes, Nate's tactic, Nate's strategy will work. They just have to execute it.
Yeah.
And because they know that he's incapable of lying, they believe him.
Nice. And also a very nice season-long payoff was Jamie giving Danny the ball to make the penalty kick.
And the puppy with a helmet on was at the same one.
He had not made a penalty kick since the first episode
Earl.
of the season. Goodbye, Earl. Right? Yes, Goodbye, Earl, where he, had a ball and dog collision that was tragic. So for Jamie to be nice enough to do that and not want to take that winning kick, and for Danny to get himself back to his winning style, that was very nice.
Yes,
nice little tying that bow, and helmet on the dog, a good thing. Dogs are going to go for balls or birds, and
Yeah. Well, also the dog at least was on a leash this time. I don't think
that's
he
right.
was on a leash.
And also extremely tiny.
Right. Very small. And adorable.
Puppies. Speaking of Keely getting unwanted attention, one of the dog wranglers seemed quite taken away.
Yes, very much so.
When you walk around with that much cleavage, babe, people are just going to fall for you.
Yeah. You're irresistible, Keely Jones. We knew that.
Really is. She's quite cute. But it was extremely icky when Nate just sort of spontaneously kissed her with no particular reason or encouragement.
No. She was being very nice to him, but she wasn't being nice to him in a hit on me way.
Not in any way at all. As a friend way.
Exactly.
So he's all kind of...
And he should know that he needs a friend. He should not,
Yeah. Well, he seems to feel that he's entitled to lots of things.
Yes, that is true.
Well, at least Nate's leaving the team is good news for Will, the
new kit man.
Yes, the new kit man who has been abused by him, as Nate was abused by like the entire team. The new guy is abused only by Nate,
right?
So I think he's not going to cry too much.
That Nate is gone. Exactly.
Yeah,
that was another good scene when Jamie and Roy had a little confrontation. When Jamie confessed and Will, the kit man, was revealed to have been in the room. He's like, I just froze. I didn't know what to do.
Very nice.
That's relatable.
Yep.
So season 2.
Season 2.
Definitely more complex and quite a bit longer than season 1. But enjoyable.
Yes. And if nothing else, even if there's plot lines you didn't like, the season was worth it, if only for the rom-communism episode and the Christmas episode, which were 100% delightful and radiated enough delight to bathe the entire season in their glow. So, and and it continues.
You can watch them again and again.
Yes, and I shall, and I have. It continues to be well written, well performed. I'm looking forward to season 3. I'm happy to watch it, and even in this, where there may be plot lines I didn't like so much, there were other ones that were just delightful. So, you go, Ted Lasso. You do your thing.
Yeah.
And we'll watch it.
We will watch it.
When you come back, assuming you're coming back.
I've got to think.
Yes.
You're coming back.
Surely.
So. But since we are done with that season.
It's not coming back this week.
So. Right. It's not coming. We got caught up, but we...
Yes. So we have a little time on our hands now.
Yes. So next week we thought we'll take a brief break from TV because, as our intro states, this we get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics. So we're going to watch a couple of movies next week, to both connected to George Clooney. So Up in the Air, which is an older one in which he stars, and The Tender Bar, which is a pretty, very recent, like just came out, right?
Yeah.
Film that he directed. He does not appear on screen.
He does not.
Sadly. So we're going to watch those two. The Tender Bar you can find on Amazon Prime, and Up in the Air at the moment is on HBO Max and other purveyors, I'm sure, if you so choose, like your library or probably Apple, Amazon Prime, you can pay for, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. You can find it.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's on your DVR, because like me, you saw it go by on cable one day and thought, I want to watch that. And then you left it there for several years. So it might be there too. Check under the U's.
Don't forget to check your
You thought,
your
that
DVR.
looks like a good movie. And you know what? You were right.
Yes. So we'll watch those two and discuss them next week. And that's going to be it for our round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes. We have something new for you every weekday. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Bye, Terry.
Bye, Catherine.
Bye, everyone.